Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. This webinar will be on YouTube. So if you're one of my followers, if you're one of the people who like the work I do, if you think it's of any value, please share it as much as you can. Share it with other traders. If you think that it's helping you, then you should share it with them. This is a trade we took yesterday in the New York session. We have at least 5 sessions a day, and sometimes more depending on the availability of traders. This is the early New York session, which I am in. Then we have a late New York session run by one of my top traders as well. And when I left, the traders were still there. So this was the trade we took care. You should have closed that trade. My traders by rule closed that trade there, and we'll be looking for a buy again today. Now, can that change from a buy to a sell? Well, that depends what happens at the top here. If it stays at the top there and consolidate, we'll buy it. If it drops lower, make a flag, we'll sell it. Because at this stage, it could be both a buy and a sell. So if you're watching this video for the first time and you're a little confused what I said just now, it could be both a buy and a sell. You may have to go back and watch the first video I did on this at the start of this week or the start of this month. And I told you at this point that we do not have a confirmed direction. We're expecting gold to go up on the big picture. The arrow is still there. You can go, it was in that webinar. We're expecting this to go up to this top. But we did not have a confirmed buy or sell for the entire week. On Monday, I said it, and Tuesday, I said it, and Wednesday, I said there's a possible sell setting. Sorry, I think it was on Tuesday, I said there's a possible sell setting, but we're not selling this because we don't like this sell in a small move like this. This is telling us it's a buy setup. Yesterday, I actually told you we were looking mostly for the buy, not the sell in gold. Well, we got the buy. So you got the setup, you get the trade, that's your trade. There's another trade here if the setup stays here. If this consolidates here, there's another trade to break the top. And we will take that trade. If this trade is desired to come back down and make a deeper pullback, and I think there's a possibility that could happen, I wouldn't ignore the fact that they could come back here and they could still go back up. We will sell it if we get a sell setup. Right? I don't think we're coming back to retest this low, but I think we could still be in this consolidation zone for another one up. It's possible. I wouldn't exclude that. If we get a flag, we're buying. So on the 1 hour, it's making a flag. It's a little early for the buy, but we can put an entry order. My traders would have an entry order there waiting for the buy. And we would take off the entry order only if we see that the pattern has changed from a buy to a sell. And that is possible. I'm not going to go to all the details because it's much more complex than just look at this little pattern here and deciding. Right? It's looking at the higher time frame, looking at the lower time frame, looking at a lot of stuff and deciding, well, you know what, this might be a good trade or it might not be a good trade. If you're following me for the week and you had a question whether this analysis worked, I think that question is gone. It works, and it works really good. If you want to know the strategies we use, how we use our strategies to end the trade, what do we do with the trade, how do we manage the trade, which is the most important thing you're ever going to hear, trade management. Now, I guarantee you have never heard that from any other traders anywhere because that's something I introduced. And I know very soon you will hear it from a lot of gurus out there. That will be good because at least they will learn to help you manage your trade, right? People talk about entry, about stop, and about the trade. They never tell you about trade management. That's what we do. Most of the time, you'll be managing the trades you're on, and there are specific rules in the trade management. Like if it does this, what do you do? If it does that, what do you do? So for any possible thing that this trade could have done, we have rules of what you would do. And there are only 3 things it can do. It can go up, it can go down, or it can go sideways. Those are the 3 basic things it can do. And in any of those situations, we have rules of what you're going to do. It could also go down and then come back up. It could go up and then come back down. It could go sideways and then up. It could go sideways and then down. In any of those situations, we have rules of what you're going to do. So it doesn't matter what this does once you're in the trade management rules are going to kick in. Now, that is what you learn when you join my course. You learn to understand wave analysis. You learn to read wave analysis. And if you would like to join us, we're going to do a live course in February. So you may want to join the room if you think this is interesting and it's going to help you. Send me a message for details at MANGAL457. That's the Skype messenger. That's where you're going to send me the message and you'll get all the details. Thank you. Let's go now. Let's start from the dollar index. By the way, if you can't afford the course immediately, you can do it in installment. Send me a message, you'll get the details. There are traders in the group now who started their installment since last year, and they're already in the group making money. So dollar index, it's coming down, but like I said yesterday, if you're going to sell these very small ones on the 15-minute and the 5-minute, you have to be careful because it's a buy setup. So now we would look for a buy, and we would be looking for a buy not from the top, but from this level. See, the top buy is no longer valid. The sell is no longer valid because it's no longer a channel, right? This turned out to be what we thought it was, a running flat. You look at it, you can look at it as a running flat, you can look at it as two small corrections. I think I look at it as two small corrections. We're not going to go into the details as why, but we would look at it as two small corrections, not a running flat. And we're looking for a buy setup. Now, this is a very, very risky buy as it stands right now. I'm going to tell you 2 reasons why. The first thing is that this could only be part of the correction, which means you can get tagged there and you can stay here for a while and watch it come back here before it goes. Now, if you don't understand that that is a possibility, if you don't know a pattern that exists like that, you wouldn't know what it's doing when it's doing this. And you would make a mistake. You would either stay with the trade hoping it's going to go and then watch it drop here and then you panic and you close it here and then you watch it go back up. Right? Because you don't have any clue what it's doing. Now, because we know of all the possible patterns that could form, and I mean every single possible patterns that could form from this point onwards, we are aware that once it starts to develop and it shows us one of those possible patterns, we know what we have to do. We know what's the next stage, right? And that's the important thing about pattern recognition wave analysis, is because you've studied all the patterns, you know all of them. We have a group of very, very experienced traders. They've been with me for 5-6 years. They're successful. They're still in the group. And the only reason they're still here is because it's free to stay, right? It's lifetime access for free. If they had to pay, they would be gone. So you have the opportunity of learning from them as well, because they're already successful traders. They're always in the room helping you. Consider that if you want to join us. So this is what we're looking for, a buy setup. There's a reason why we put it there, and this strategy has its limits. It's a risky strategy. We know how we're going to trade. Can you sell this here? Maybe. That's a 5-minute trade. I'm not interested in that, and we don't show that in here in any case. Silver went up more. I think we didn't trade the silver. We traded the gold yesterday, but it went up. Silver going up is not a problem. This is where you start watching silver very carefully at this point. We're coming down here. If it starts to break out of this, breaking out itself is irrelevant. If it starts to break out and consolidate, then we will assume that we're coming back to retest that top, right? So once this starts to break out and consolidate here, and we'll probably look for a forward consolidation, something more like that, then we would assume that we're going to retest that top. That would be the assumption. Now, it could also give you a very deep pullback, because if we're going up as this move went up here, this move there, right? If we're going up for this, then at some point in here, you'll start to get very deep consolidation come here. Now, this move is not going to be the final move in this correction. I don't think this is the one that's going to break out and take off like a rocket. We will come back down, right? Because this here seems to be the biggest consolidation, if that happens. And if you go back and you watch the first webinar I did in this year, you should watch that webinar because it is showing long-term analysis. And this is part of the long-term analysis I showed, that they're going to come back here, whatever form it comes back here. It's likely going to go back down before you go up, because that will complete a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're expecting it to go. Would it be more complex than that? When this piece happens, we will know that. So as of now, we're looking for the upside, but I don't think it's going to take off like a rocket, but we will trade it. Right now, we're in gold as of today, but we'll trade this. We'll keep an eye on it. Some of my traders might have taken it because it actually broke out when I wasn't in the trading room, but if they took it, great. You're getting a flag here. This is a buy setup. If you're going to buy this one, you have to be very careful. This could be the last short-term impulse up, last 60 minutes impulse up before you actually get a deeper correction. So my traders, if you're taking this trade, you know how to manage that, right? We have one, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be the final one, pull back deeper. So you don't want to stay with it longer. Gold is going good. We're going to put an entry order above the top here, and then we'll see what happens. Remember, this is the highest point. So the chances for a deeper consolidation is still there. If it's making a small expanding or running flat, I think we'll be here for a while. And the 15, you can see that's not a pattern as yet. This is very sharp. So if there's going to be any pattern here, it's probably going to be this doing this, come back here, and then probably go. So it could stay here for a while. It's maybe even not today, tomorrow, maybe till next week we get that breakout. Today is what day, by the way? Today is Thursday. So maybe tomorrow, maybe next week we get that, but watch for that trade. We're keeping a track of this one and we might take the sell. It came back high enough, not to where I wanted, but if you remember yesterday what I said, every time it comes back to this stop, we will sell. Right? We're not so much interested in the buy, but let it come back to this stop. We weren't selling anywhere here. It came back to the top, great, we'll start to look for the sell. The arrow was from here coming to the top. That was incorrect. It actually made a flat. It made another flat here and then go back up. Can we look at this as the bigger flat inside here? We'll look at that today in the trading room, whether that is a possibility. And this is a 1, 2, 3, but I don't think it is. I think we have the pattern correctly. So this is the bigger one. So this would be 1, 2, 3. It's coming back down for this move. So there's a likely chance we'll go back up for this one, right? And we know gold and silver has some up and down move more in them. So I wouldn't be surprised if we come back down for this. And this could be pretty fast with a single pullback in it. You could go back up for this one, and then we get this final drop. So we'll just be going sideways. Look for the sell setup. So now we're interested in this one because if we get a sell setup here today, we'll take the trade. Do we have one? Well, we don't have, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, put an entry order. Right? We'll go with this. By the way, if you're watching this webinar for the first time, you hear me count 1, 2, 3, 4, put the entry order, you better don't try that. It's dangerous for you to try that at home. You have no idea what I meant there. It's not just counting the candles. And it's not just that it goes four sideways. It's where it is at the present moment. What's the bigger picture? And what we were waiting for this trade, put it in long term, we were waiting for that thing to go break the top of the level. Watch all my previous webinars, you know that. So don't go pick any candle, count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then start selling. Euro, good. We're not buying. I said it yesterday, we're looking for a sell setup. It's no longer a sell from under the low because this is a big one. We're going to try to sell here. Again, this is a risky sell, if you understand, because it doesn't mean that if this breakout is going to go, it could break out, make a bigger consolidation, but it's a sell. You will have to start managing that trade. Pound, yesterday, we saw the possibility for this up on the 15 minutes. I can't remember if I mentioned it in the webinar, but I did mention it in my trading room. Some of my traders who have the skill level will take this trade, will close it somewhere here. Those who don't have the skill level will stay away from it. This is coming down. I don't think we're going down as well. You see, this is coming down slowly. I think we're going to probably go back up and make a new high there. The possibility is you're making more of a consolidation, a bigger consolidation there. So what you can end up having is this becoming a 1, 2, 3, and you get a bigger consolidation here, and then you go. So it's not really a sell setup at the moment. If you have to sell this, we'll have to wait for it to drop and make a flag. Now, can you sell this little flag here? If you have the skill level, it's just going to do this, and then it could probably start doing that. Right? So unless you think you can manage the trade for break even, then yes. If you can, then don't do that. Aussie is coming down. That's something we can sell. Let's see. Nope, not as yet. We had one of that yesterday, and it was a buy actually. This one, see this one here? This 1, 2, 3. I don't know if we sold that. If any of my traders sold it, it would have been a break-even trade. Same thing here. If you want to sell this, it could also be a break-even trade. Come here and go back up, or it could drop. Can this drop through the bottom here? Let's see if we have a trade for that. It's possible. If this is the down move, we sold this and we sold this and we closed it, and then we have the entry here. This entry is no longer valid. Take it off. This could be this sell. Here's what we're going to do for my traders. Take this off. Use the last impulse. Put your entry under the low, and we'll manage it from here. Right? We'll put the entry for the sell there, and we'll manage that trade from there. Same should be for the New Zealand. Yep, New Zealand trades you guys should be in already. Right? I think we discussed this in the trading room yesterday that, you know, if it comes down, you should have been in the trade from this level. I think you know that already. Those who were in the New Zealand buy closed it. We had a buy in New Zealand going up. I think we had a buy from here yesterday, from this flag. That would be, let me see what time I was in there. That would be here. That is, yes, 11. It should be somewhere here. or it should be somewhere here. Whichever it is, you took it to break even on that trade because it dropped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're out of the trade. And then you're in the sell from this point, right? If anybody paid it. If you haven't taken the sell, I wasn't in the trading room, so I don't know if anybody took it, but if nobody took it, we'll wait for this to come off and we'll look for a flag to sell. Right? Any flag after the break of that would be breaking the structure as well. Remember, this is the short-term sell. This is not a sell for the big move. So the Aussie sell might be better, but if you get this, we'll keep an eye on it, right? So watch that. US yen. Yeah, we're buying this. And some of you should be in the buy already. This was yesterday's entry before we made a new low. You made a new low, the entry should have been here, right? If any one of you were on for this. So if you're not on for that, wait, leave this one here and wait for a flag, right? So if you didn't get the trade, if we didn't get this, I wasn't there when the low was broken. So if you were there, your entry should be here. If you're not there, then wait for a flag here and we'll take the trade or put their entry there if they take off. We'll leave it at that point. That's the best point we can go right now. If we get a flag, we'll be saying, could it probably drop lower? Wait for the flag, because could this be a possible flat that goes, oh, your entry should be here, sorry, above that top, but could this possibly be a flat here because you have a flag in here for downside? That is possible. So wait for a flag. Right, we'll wait for a flag. If we get a flag, if not, we'll leave this entry at the top here. It's possible with this could be a small running flat, or yeah, most likely small running flat is possible. So keep an eye on it. We'll wait for a small flag here. We'll go into 15, take a flag, and then take the trade to the upside. Got it? Yep. Remember yesterday in the trading room, right? Watch this trade. If you were in, I hope you guys took out some profit. Don't take the break even because you had quite a lot of trades. You guys took it earlier and you had anything like about 30 something pips. So at least you took something out of it. This was the level. Once it pulled back there, that was the level to decide close it. Right now, and there's a reason I had this here, which I explained to you guys. Watch this. It doesn't look like that is all the correction. Right now, we broke the low. So we have two options there. Right, the low is broken. Either this is the end of the structure and we're going up, or we're still in the correction. We're coming to the top and then we're going to make one more low before we go. So let's look at the 4-hour for that, right? Big picture is it could come back to this level. It doesn't have to. We broke the top, right? So we're looking for a running flat. This could be the takeoff point, or they could just make a flat here, drop one more, then go. Either way, we want the buy. If it's a flat, it's a break-even trade for us. If it's a takeoff, we're in the trade, right? So let's go here. And we do have a buy setup. Put an entry above this stop. We'll manage this trade, right? We can get out of that for break even if it doesn't go. So you have, if it's repeating this, impulse, flag, impulse. So it makes an impulse, it makes a flag, it makes another impulse there, we'll take the break even trade. And then it will probably come back here, right? We'll go with this as the flat. This could be the flat. It could be a more complex one. You can come back here, go back there, and then drop. We're not working with that as it. For now, we want the buy. And then we will decide whether this is the low or not. This could be the low if you look at it as this is all the correction. What if that was all the correction? I don't think it was, but what if it was? Then this is the low. In any case, any buy and CAD we're taking. Swiss, yeah, you closed the sell. It didn't go. And it's giving you a short-term buy setup. That's a very short-term buy setup. Take this off, take this off. And you can put an entry here if you want. It's a short-term buy. We're probably going to go a little higher. Still a consolidation. It hasn't changed. It's just that this could work its way down somewhere. And then you probably do this. You might do this and then come down, right? You're just going to end up with a bigger correction here. See, they make bigger corrections. It's not going up as yet. If you take the trade, it's a very short-term trade. Let's take this off. You don't want traders who have no experience to go with that, and they'll be confused. If you want to buy anything, buy the yen, buy the CAD, not the Swiss. We're selling the Swiss. Euro pound. Okay, so the second trade is break even. The second entry here for those who had it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You close, break even, right? The first trade, I would close it right here. So I will book this profit. And take that. If you close your trade earlier, no problem. You just close the second trade. So the first trade is profit, the second trade is break even. Is it going to go down or go up from here? We broke the low, right? So we can look back at the pattern to see whether is an upside forming. I don't see the upside coming as yet. It could be, we do have divergence. There's a lot of divergence. We could be reversing from this point in the daily. Let's see if we have an upside possibility. You know, it could be in the entire structure of this thing. If you look at it, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually from this point make another one like this. If we make another move like that up. Could we in reality put all of this as some big running flat? It's possible. You've got some kind of a weird consolidation there. You've got a consolidation here. It's possible. You can make an argument for that before it drops again. So we'll see, but it can go up. We do have a lot of divergence. You can see this look divergence in here. You have divergence. You don't see the divergence of this piece, right? As much. But if you go in the 4 hour, you're looking at the last two impulse, which would be this one and this one. Right. So in the last two, we definitely have divergence. That is between this and between this piece. In the middle here, if you check with these, you don't see the divergence. That's in the consolidation, but you would have divergence between this one and this one. So for that reason, internally here, we also have divergence on this one. So that means watch it for upside if we get the upside. I don't see any setup as yet, so we'll wait. It also doesn't have a sell setup. There isn't a sell setup on it as well. So no sell, no buy, just wait. Euros. Okay. So if you sold this, it's only to break the low, right? If you sold this yesterday, it is only to break this low. So on the first one start to pull back, you will close your trade here. You wouldn't wait for the second one. Close the trade because there's a chance that this could still go back up one more. So today we would know if we consolidate here, we'll sell. If they go up, make a flag, we'll buy. Right, I'll wait for a 1 hour flag. I want this to go up some more. Make a 1 hour flag here, and then we'll consider the buy. If it stays here, we'll sell it. That'll be tomorrow. The consolidation will be bigger. Euro New Zealand. Yep, it actually came down. So two things. If you close the trade, we're looking for a buy setup again. Keep that entry above the top there. Don't go in. If you stay with the trade, which means if you didn't close it and you're hoping, you might have survived that. If you survive it, good. If you didn't, then don't worry. We closed it somewhere here or somewhere here. We'll look for a buy setup. All right, we're still looking for a buy setup because it's going back up pretty fast. We don't have the setup as yet. This is still this whole piece is still pretty slow, right? So we'll still relook at it and see whether there's a running flat somewhere in here. Could this possibly be a running flat? This piece here. You can make an argument for that. This is the lowest one here. This is a consolidation in the downside of this piece. So you get 1, 2, 3. This is sharp. You got a big correction in it. This is sharp. These two moves down are pretty sharp. Okay, watch this entry order here. We'll keep that there, but we'll watch it. We'll be very careful with it. If it breaks, it doesn't do. If we get a flag here today, we'll take the trade up. And then we'll still assume that this could be a running flat, which means it could come back here and then go. Right? This will be a bigger consolidation of its own. So that possibility exists. Let's wait for a flag, take the trade. We want to take it. We want to take it inside here, not by the top. Because if this is what we think it is, breaking the top is the point from where it's going to come back down. And you also don't want to miss the trade. So let's get a flag here today and we'll take the trade. EuroCAD. Yeah, finally, you're getting the buy setup again. Go for it again. This will be the third break even if it doesn't go. Right? Wait for that buy, take it back to this level. I think this will be the break even. This one was break even. I think one more somewhere. This one, I don't know where. Somewhere here, I think we took it. That was a break even. So we'll take this one again for the upside. Euro Swiss. It's consolidating and it's more downside. Right? It's consolidating here. This is more of a sell setup, but it's not ready. Just wait a little more and then we'll go with the sell setup on this. If you want to put an entry under the low, it's okay. Shouldn't be a problem. Euro Yen. So same thing here. Either they consolidate and we get a sell. Either this consolidates here for a sell. which means you can put the sell setup here if you want. It's consolidating under that low. Or this goes up and we get the buy. So we don't want the consolidation. We want this to take off, make a flag here, and then we go for the buy. This buy should go out of the structure and way to the top here, right? This is the bigger picture. By the way, most of these details I'm giving are actually for the YouTube traders. My traders already knew what I meant the minute I put the entry there, right? So if we sell, we're selling to retest this low. If it comes up here, give us a buy setup. We're coming to come to this top and probably break out. So the buy is the trade we actually want, but we don't have the setup as yet. We have to wait for this to go out some more, make a flat, make a flag, and then buy. Pangos, it came down pretty deep. Take that out. It's not the buy setup we're looking for. And it might be coming down actually. It started very slow, but it looks like we might be heading down for this move. So if we get any sell setup as of now, we'll take it. Can it go make a new high? Yeah, it could. But I don't see a buy setup in it. So if this starts to drop, we'll probably go with a running flat for downside. Let's see if we have that in the 15. No, it's not a running flat. This is a flat of its own. This is a correction. This is a correction. Let's see if we get a correction here. Let's see if this makes some kind of flag flat here and then go back there and then decide to drop. Then we can go with this sell. Right, as of now, it's not the buy and it's not a sell. We just have to wait for the setup to take the trade. Pound Swiss, we've got a sell setup. It's still valid. It can go up some more. I can see this possibly going up one more. I can see this getting back to the top there. I don't think it's a buy you want. I'll let the buy go. We're looking for the sell. Hong Yen. Don't sell it even if it goes somewhere. Let's see. Let's wait until this finish starts to go up and give us the buy setup. Pound New Zealand. I think we were on the 15 minutes selling that yesterday to break this low, and it did break the low, but the trade is a break-even trade. So we were selling this 1, 2, 3 for this move to come back and break this low, which they did. But it doesn't matter. Even if you kept it through this, your stop was here. So even if you kept this one and it came back here and it go back, you close the trade for break even. Don't keep it. It didn't go. We thought this would go much further down. It didn't go further down. It actually stopped right there. It worked. It's a perfect flat. Now you have 1, 2, 3, and we're going up. So this is a 1, 2, 3. Expect a 2 here and then go back for the 3. We'll buy this one. Actually, there was a buy earlier on the 1 hour, I think. Let me see if there was a buy. No, there wasn't any buy setup. Now you probably get a buy setup. Or if you look at it this way, as a 1, 2, 3, we broke the top. We still have this one. So there's still a chance for this to come back here and then go, making this a bigger flat. Because all of this is inside of this. So there's still a chance for one more down, make a bigger flat, then go up again. Don't buy at the top there. We have to have a flag before we decide. More of a correction before you do that. Pancad. Okay, so this was the sell. So these were sells that we closed already. I'll take them off. We don't have the sell setup. It didn't come back down, but it's still a sell, right? There's a sell probably from this level. There's a sell from here. But if you sell from there, it's going to be within the structure. We're still going to be here. Right? It's because this is a big flag. It's probably going to come here and go right back up. So you would get 1, you get 1, 2, 3, you get another one, you get 1, 2, 3, you get another one, and then we look for the sell. So if you have the skill levels, some of my traders might want to get very anxious and said, well, why wait? Let's take it. You want to take this one here. You have to be aware that once you break this here, you might not even break the low. You just break this, you can go right back up. So the best place is keep your entry at the bottom here. That is if we're wrong and this actually take off to the bottom, right? Let's assume that this is it. That's all. This one should drop. It's not dropping, it's making a flat. It means that making this flat here gives you one more down and then the upside. So this should give us one more down. It may or may not break this. It could break it if we're making an expanding one and go back up, make a new top like that. more or less what you would call an expanding triangle, and then likely drop, right? Could this be the one that totally go down? It's possible. So the risk is, if you're going to sell here or under this low, you have to manage your way out for break even. Keep a stop. You'll have to keep a much bigger stop. Your stop has to be way, let's see what the size of that stop would be if you do that. Oh, that's 100, that would be too much. We'll have to figure out where to put the stop. Keep the stop above this stop here. Keep the stop above this stop. But we will have to get out of that trade really quick if it doesn't go, because it can come back and even break that top. See, that's the risk of this trade. So if you understand the risk, you have to manage that trade very close. Aussie Yen. Okay, it's back at the top, but it's not there. It's not where we want it as yet. It hasn't reached the top as yet. Let it get back to the top, then we'll look for sell. I think we're going to do a flat here, go back there. We will look for this move down, and then we're likely going to have one more move up before it drops. This might be the B part of it. Aussie CAD. Take this off. This went up and the same thing. It went up, but it's coming back down. Do we sell from this point? Not as yet. This is a very sharp move. Do we have any sharp move like that in the past? Nothing to go with. I don't think we'll take this because this move is very strong. I don't think we'll take this because this move is also very strong. If you go with this small flag in here, could be this one. There's not any big flat in it, but it might go. See, let's see if we get any flag here. If it makes a flag like these flags, see these small flags here? If we get a flag here, we'll go with this sell. We'll assume that that could be a running flat. There's no big consolidation, but there's a series of small ones. Let's see. Let's get a flag and then we'll go with the sell. Aussie Swiss, same here. All the Aussie pairs, we really don't want this sell anymore, because even if this drops, it's not going to go far. It's just going to come and tag the low. So we'll wait to see, let this tag the low, or if it gives a buy from here, we'll take it. Actually, if it comes down back to only to this level here, we can put an entry here. It's either going to come down here or it's going to go up there. So the buy would probably be a good idea there. Aussie New Zealand finally broke out. Surprisingly, it broke out really fast. Most of the time it's moving like this. And then this is the time when it moved break out really fast. That's a surprise. Let's see. Yeah, that's a fast breakout. So we're not coming back to this level as yet. We can make an assumption they're going back to the top. Let's see. Well, let it come to the top here first, and then we will decide. Let it get to that top. And from there, we will decide, let's take this off. From there, we will decide whether we're doing this, and it's going to come one more down. Take that off, and take this off. So from that point, two things could happen. Either we assume that this is all 1, 2, 3, and this would go break the top, right? Or we assume that this is 1, 2, 3, come back here and then go break the top. So there might be one more trade to the upside. If it's going to move that fast, it's good. If it's not going to move that fast, you'll have to be careful. But if you get a flag here, there's one more trade at least to go up. And then from that point, we'll see what happens. CAD, it's still a buy. And we can literally put that buy. It's a very big stop. You'll have to use the stop here because you're trading this entire thing. We don't have an earlier entry. Right? There is no earlier entry unless we get a flag here. Then we'll go with an earlier entry. Swiss yen. Okay, if you're tagged in that, this comes back up, close the trade. Right? We were trading the small flag. Your stop should have been somewhere here because it's very small. You wouldn't put a stop here. It's becoming a flat for downside. Right? This here is becoming a flat for downside, a small flat. It goes to the top there. We're looking for a sell here. What's the short-term sell? Well, we'll see. Either it comes back, break this low here, and then go back up, or it literally drops. Then we will go with this as all the correction. Right? But it's a sell setup. Let's take the sell and we manage it. Just like the buy. Close that buy because it's back where you want it. It's not going anywhere. New Zealand yen. If you sold this, you close it here, right? If you sold it there, the entry is under this low. The entry is under this low. I think we actually put it a little higher here, but if you didn't, it's the entry is under. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close it, put the entry lower. If you still want the trade, I think we're heading for this low, so it's still a valid trade. Close it. I'll leave this here for those later on, but basically close it and you put the new entry here. Right. New Zealand Swiss, perfect trade going as expected. All right, these are the trades that give you the profit. They go exactly as you expected and it's going really well. You don't have to close it. It's making a new low. You just move your stops into profit. All right, and watch it when it breaks the slope. It can go much lower. I think that can go much lower than there. So the sell is a great one. Let's keep it. Let's see how far it goes. If you closed it, you re-enter, but it's only 1, 2. I'll give it at least another one. But if you close, re-enter or wait for another flag. New Zealand CAD. We didn't sell this, but it actually went. Let's see. I think yesterday we had a trade for the sell in the New Zealand CAD, Aussie CAD, and all that, but we took them off. I don't know if anybody re-entered after the news event, if anybody re-entered here, because we took them off during the news event. They didn't go, it went afterwards. The New Zealand CAD was the sell, the Aussie CAD was the sell, right? And the pound CAD was the sell. None of them actually went except for the New Zealand CAD, right? So we took that out, but if you put it on back, great. Let's see this one, CAD Swiss, also sell setup. By the way, I don't know if anybody kept it. We took this off as well. But if you kept this and you got tagged here, you should have probably moved it a little higher here. But if you got tagged here, just put a stop above there and wait. I think your stop should have been above here, but you can put a stop here and we'll wait to see if this pull back, close the trade, right? So it has to pull back something like this. You close the trade. If it's a running flat, it's going to drop. Right, so just keep the stop there and wait for the exit of the trade. So it drops fast, you stay with the trade, it pulls back slow, we close the trade. It's still a good trade, right? That's still a good sell. If we don't get it this time, we'll put the entry order for the next time. And this is a sell. You probably can sell here if you want. I don't like it the way it's looking right now. Maybe sell under there, but it's coming down really, so it should have come down faster than that. But it's a sell setup. And let's go. I'm going to go through this really fast because we're running out of time, sorry. So this one, I'm not going to explain what we're doing here, but it's a buy setup short term. And for my traders, you know what this red means, right? And what's the purpose of it there, right? So we're looking for the buy here short term. That red should be there. That's a very long-term entry. So this one is, that will move as we go, right? Same thing here, right? Still valid. I don't think we have a buy setup on this. Natural gas, if you sold, you should have sold not here, but you should have sold it somewhere here. There was a flag there. But if you kept it and sold here, watch this, close the trade, put an entry lower. You're making a flag here, close the trade here, put an entry under this low, right? US 30. We don't have the sell. We're looking for the sell setup yesterday within this range to come back to this low, right? So we looked at this whole range and we realized that they're kind of doing something in here. It could be a running flat or it could be an ending channel. They both have the same looks, right? So this thing is doing this. It's coming there. It's coming here. It's coming back here. It's going there. It's coming here. It's coming here. Can it actually go back there? Yes, but we were looking for a sell setup, which means we want the correction here that will give us this drop. Not a flag, a correction. If we get a correction, we go for this drop and hope that it's dropped through the bottom. But there's a chance from here it can go back up. We'll buy. So at this point, if we see the up move, which is if we're repeating this here, right? If we're repeating that here, if we're repeating that here, it can go back up there, right? See, they actually went up back and then drop. So it can go back there and then drop again. Is it? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So we'll watch this level here, either for a buy or a consolidation for a sell, not a flag. because the flags aren't going very far. So we get a consolidation here, we'll sell it. We get an up move and a flag, we'll buy it back to the top. Let's see which one comes. S&P 500 should be very similar, right? Because at this point, they can go back up for a running flat. Can make a sharp move up back here for a running flat, then we would sell. If it goes here and make a flag, we'll buy to retest the top. Right, this one is also on the trend line. Well, it doesn't really matter, but it's somewhere there from where they normally pull back, right? So they kind of drop, go back up, drop. This is a series of running flats. We're not going to go with those. Drop again, make a nice flat in there, make a new high. Is this going to drop? Wait for a pullback, give us a running flat, we're selling, right? Make a sharp move, make a flag, we're buying. I think this one is the strangest one because this one actually went back up to the top. It's pulling down. This doesn't mean just breaking the line itself does not mean anything, but it might be a warning sign that, okay, we might be breaking out. If we're breaking out, we want a proof of breakout. So give us something that says we can sell. This is a sharp move. Go back up to the top here, make that flat, and we would look for the sell setup, right? We go back there, make a flat, we're looking for a sell setup. People, it's going down too slow. Just leave it. Start looking for your buy setups. It's going down really slow. I don't think you really want to sell it to the downside. There is a sell setup, but we closed it for break even already. It's not going anywhere. And that's okay. So we wanted it to come back up. We want this to go back up slightly somewhere. I'm looking at a possible running flat in the making. So I want this to go back up there and then we look for the sell setup. We don't have any trade on it right now. Nifty dropped. Okay, so I don't see any sell setup. We don't have any flag anywhere. You need a flag now to sell. And we haven't broken the top. So that means this could also be just a consolidation. Wait for the flag, because if you don't get a flag, this could end up doing this and go back higher, right? So you get a flag here, then you go for the sell. We'll see. We haven't broken the top, so we might be just making a bigger consolidation there before we go. I don't think it's a total drop from there. This is a very sharp move up. So let's wait for the flag. If you're going to trade the 15 flag, you have to be very careful, right? This was a sell, and it's a very good sell. It's going good. It's slow, but it's going. You'll have to stay with these things to see how they move, so you have to stay with it for a while. It broke the low, put it in the positive, and let's see how far it goes. Tesla also coming down, which means that we're going to retest this low here, most likely. And then we're going to figure out what the entire big pattern is, because that would be a bigger correction for upside. And let's see, this is going up one more. Do we have a buy setup? Nope. It's going up, but we don't have buy setup, so we'll leave it alone until we get something we can buy. And there's nothing to sell. Let's go Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin didn't go back up. It's still going down. It actually went up. This one went up, but it didn't go up as far as we expected to go, right? So I was expecting this to probably make something like this and then come down. It's still coming down. So we will probably have a series of smaller running flat for now, because you're getting a sell setup here. You're literally getting a sell setup there, which is not so good because we still have this sharp one here that is, unknown. It's still going sideways, and this looks like it can drop one more, not very big, but drop here. They're going to probably consolidate here some more and then drop like this. We might make a series of running flat in here. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. And then drop. Right? Drop here, go back up. We'll figure it out. If that happens, we still have to retest this stop. Right? We still don't have this one. So this thing is going to consolidate here for a very, very long time. ETH, pretty much the same thing. Actually, if you get the buy here, we can take the chance that it is going up to either do two things. It is going up to totally make this one, or we go up like this, right? So if it starts to go up like this, we're going to drop again. If it goes up like this, we'll retest the top and then come down. We're still coming down because that looks like a flat for downside. XRP, short-term buys. Still possible. It's very slow, so I'll stay out for now. Put a buy, wait for a better flag or something to buy a better correction. If this pulls back, it would be a buy. If it pulls back here, make a flat like that, then this could become a buy. So let's wait. ADA. Big picture, looks like we're coming back down for the sell, which means that this correction is not over. If we retest the low again, I don't see the pattern for that one. That's a sharp impulse of its own. And it's not equivalent to this one as yet. So we can't go with that running flat. Maybe. Let me see if they're equal or very similar. Then we can probably go with that running flat. It's a little too short. Let's wait and see what it's doing. We don't have any sell set up there. If we get a flag here, a good one, I mean, in the 1 hour, maybe, but in the 4 hour, if you get a very good consolidation here, that'd be a good sell setup. This should start going up because we're assuming that this is making consolidation here. Go back to the top there, make a flat and then come down. Keep an eye on that. Any sell will be very short term. Okay, this one is going lower. So we're still in that consolidation. We're still in this consolidation. This is the low. Eventually it has to go back up, right? Because this is the flat part of it. This is 1, 2, 3. Eventually this has to go back up. So keep an eye on that. Even if it's short term, right? If they're just making a flat, right? Eventually this one would probably just go back up here. And then if that's a flat for downside, we'll start to sell. Can you buy this? Yes, if you get a buy setup. Let's see. Okay, this might be more of a sell because you're getting a big flat here. So if you get any sell set up in here, you can go with it. Right? We don't have any sell set up. Wait for consolidation before you sell. The 1 hour flags are pretty risky. The 1 hour flag will be this sell here. If you sold that, as a matter of fact, in the break of this, you can sell to come back here, right? Which is what we did. And now we have to decide, well, does it go back up or does it drop? If it makes a flag here, that's a drop. This one is a sell setup. You're in this flat here, but I don't think it's ready to go as yet. So this would be more of a smaller consolidation. Drop one once more and then probably go up. It will have to do this. Drop one more here and then probably go up. So short term, you're in a sell, long term, you're in a buy. All right, so long term is the upside, short term is the downside. Okay, you've got a perfect flat here. This should be ready to go. Maybe it could come just a little more down. This could come just a little more down, but then it's upside, right? And let's see this. Nothing here. I think we're going sideways. We still expect them to go back up one more. I don't think this is all the consolidation. So there's a chance this goes back up here and then come. Make a bigger flat. That's very common. So let's see. If you get buy setups, you can go for the trade. I don't see the buy setup right now. It's kind of making a very small flat here, which is a sell setup. Right, if it comes back here and decide to drop, just one more drop and then still upside. BNB. No, nothing here. I don't see a seller or buy setup in that as yet. Let it consolidate, we'll know. You're getting sell setups, but would you want this sell here now? Right? Because we're at the bottom. That's the impulse. It's coming down like this, it will have to go back up there. So let this happen and then look for the buy setup, actually. TRX. It's consolidating, leave it for now and let's see. This is coming down, so it can go down more. Yeah, this can go down more. You're looking at it two ways. You're looking at this big sideways move here. Right, that big sideways move, as well as you're looking at the entire big corrective structure here. So we're looking at two ways of this thing. Right? We're still in that pattern. So slowly this could come back here. I think it could come to this level, which means afterwards we should go back up. I don't think this is the one that drops to the bottom. Right, it's coming down really slow, but you can take this sell and see whether that is the one that actually comes there. And dash. Dash could go lower. So if you get a sell setup, go with it, and you are getting a sell setup here. We can go with this one. Right, that's making a sell setup. So okay, guys, we've covered all the cryptos. What we're going to do now is we'll do the cryptos separate. So from next week, the cryptos will be a separate webinar all of its own. So we'll probably not waste time on that. We'll do it probably not every day too. We'll do it 2-3 times a week, because most people who trade cryptos, they trade it long term, not on a daily basis. So we'll see. We'll figure it out. Maybe twice a week we'll do that. So okay, guys, thank you. I will close the room, let the webinar process, and now it's 10:13. I will be back with you. We don't need an update again. So we'll be back for the the London session, which is, I think, 11 my time. Let me see. London now is 6. That is in 2 hours. As 2 hours is going to be 12. At 12 my time. So quarter to 12, I'll probably be in the room, which is an hour something from now. You guys can stick around. I would close the room and I'll be right back with you, right? So you join the room again to continue trading. I'll just see you guys later, right? Take care. Bye. Thanks for being here.